this passage from Samuel, I often think for some strange reason of my dad. So Dad is a retired farmer now. He's living cozily in town, having worked a very busy life. So for over 50 years, him and my mum have run a farm successfully and raised 9 children successfully, I think. I'm a bit biased. And Mum and Dad now are sitting there in retirement, and I could just tell that they must be thinking, we are so blessed. And they say this to us, we are so blessed. And how can we let our appreciation for the Lord and all that He's done in our lives be seen more clearly? And I think that my dad might be, like King David, able to say something crazy like, I just want to build the Lord a house to show my gratitude and how much I want to honor Him. But the thing that my dad and my mum have left or will leave to honor the Lord most is actually their children. I think that I'm part of what they've built with their love and their life and their faith. I'm part of that ongoing legacy that's going to continue to honor the Lord. Not because I'm extra spectacular, but because they've helped me to know that loving God first and foremost with the whole of my life is what's going to make me happy, but also put the world at its right order. And this is what the Lord is trying to say to King David. It's not just a physical house that I'm after you building a whole family line, a whole people that will continue to honor me, will put me first. And out of that family line will come this incredible person, or a couple of people, incredible person of Saint Joseph, who will be willing, with his bride, Mary, to give God absolute first place in their life. And because of that commitment, because they've come from that line of putting God first, that line of King David, we see that they've set the foundation for the house of God, the foundation for a dwelling place for God. So when we come to this gospel passage of today and we see that an angel is visiting Mary and she is given the option, because let's face it, she could say no, the option to be involved in salvation history, to say yes to having the Son of God, to rearing Him, to taking responsibility for Him. I get kind of awestruck actually by how much could go wrong in this story. Yes, Mary could say, no, I'm too young or too unfit to do this. Or when she does say yes, Saint Joseph could have gone through with his choice later on of divorcing Mary, but he didn't. He chose to listen to the Lord and trust where the Lord was leading them. Similarly, God entrusts us with this beautiful responsibility and chance, opportunity to present to our world Jesus. So Mary, in her saying yes in this gospel passage, allowed God to come in and dwell in her. She became the house of God promised all those years ago through the prophet Nathan to King David, that his line would become a house, that he is preparing the appropriate dwelling place. We find that in the person of Mary. So through her yes, she became the dwelling place of God for 9 months. But not only that, I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's quite fascinating that when a mother is pregnant, her unborn child's cells pass through the placenta wall and enter into her bloodstream and then go to make up her tissues. So she actually ends up carrying the DNA of her child for the rest of her life. So for the rest of her life, Mary carries Jesus. She remains his dwelling place. And I believe that a similar thing happens when we receive Jesus in the Holy Eucharist at Holy Communion. When we receive him into our bodies, we become his bearers into the world, that we continue to present him to others through our lives, through our humor, through our actions, through our kindness, and through our spoken word. And I often think of what that word home means. The house becomes a home. When I'm at home with my mum and dad, or even when I'm at home with my fellow sisters, I hang out with them. I feel really relaxed. I feel most at home. I feel most understood. I feel most free to be truly me. I can relax. And I think that that's what Jesus wants to find when he comes and makes his home within us. That like he was with Mary and Joseph, he can be truly himself. He can speak his mind. And he knows that he'll be understood and cared for and listened to. And similarly, when he speaks within our own hearts, when he makes us his dwelling place. And so this Advent, as we prepare to make him room, when we make room in our hearts and our lives, in our very bodies, when we receive Eucharist, when we receive Holy Communion, let's make Jesus really at home. Let us make that space where he can speak from his heart to us. And that means, of course, that we need to really make room for him, to clear the decks, to clear our rooms, so that Jesus has room to be at home and he can be heard when he speaks to us. So this might mean we need to go to confession and get rid of some stuff, that we need to maybe make some more time and space in the room of our hearts through a really active prayer life, that we come back to him in a deeper way, so that this Christmas he would truly find a dwelling place in our world, through our hearts at least. And in that way, that we, like Mary, will continue to present him to the world.